Brad Morris, the one and only.
Is that true?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think there are any other Brad Morrises statistically.
Name-wise, I feel like there are. And
there's
one
definitely
guy
not.
is a recently deceased professional kickboxer.
Oh,
So that was a hard thing to kind of reckon with.
to have a bunch of people reaching out to you and being like, I didn't know you were a kickboxer or that old.
Yeah, I feel like when I finally had like a credit and someone's like, oh, there's a website and it shows that you're like, you've made it because you're online, which now we know
Right.
that's not actually an indicator of anything.
Yeah.
But at the time you go there and then you find, wait a second, there is another Brad Morris, and he's just based on credits alone, just far more successful. And then when you find out he's a professional kickboxer, it's very deflating.
Yeah.
So I am the one and only Brad Morris in the context of maybe improvising. That is meaningful to me.
Great. Let's keep you there.
Mm-hmm.
And let's, if there are any other Brad Morrises out there listening, please do not get inspired by this. Do not start improv.
I'm not flattered by impersonation in that way.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though that's a thing, right?
It's the highest form of flattery.
I don't agree.
Okay. Hot take. We're starting with a hot take.
Is it? I mean,
I mean, yeah, I guess, but it's also
feels like
it's more annoying. It's stealing.
Because it also feels like a thing that someone would say instead of saying, I don't like that impersonation of me. They would say, well, it's actually the highest form of flattery.
Right. So I was actually complimenting you.
Yeah.
And now, so I plagiarized your book, and you should feel actually grateful.
That's right. I don't feel like anyone's ever actually felt that.
No, you're
They've
right.
said it, but they don't really mean it.
They don't mean it. Where does your comedy world start? Did you start as a kid? Did you do theater?
I do feel the pressure to have interesting answers here, and this is
Please
where
don't.
It's going to be a real problem. Yeah, because as a kid, my dad was a much more a louder comedic, a fan of louder comedy. So he would say, like, I don't know where your subtlety came from. And in my mind, I'm actually like, oh, I don't feel very subtle at all. But
really?
Well, I can be maybe, but versus my dad, very subtle. So he was like, he's Three Stooges when I'm like little.
He had like a seltzer bottle and a holster that he could whip out.
He did like to go to a place called Jack's Joke Shop in Boston when he would go on business to Boston, and he would have bags from Jack's Joke Shop. So he's kind of like that guy.
Hand buzzer, itching powder.
Yeah, and like spy gear, and you know what I mean? Like Austin Powers is a very funny movie, and I love it. But for my dad, it's transcendent. It's like
high art.
How did this is the most and you know, I love sharing it with my daughters and getting I want them to see that too.
Really quick, what did your dad do for work?
It's a great question, Suzi.
Businessman.
It's a little bit, businessman. Very very alternately successful and deeply unsuccessful.
Yeah.
Not sales, like entrepreneurial. Great for forming a comic mind.
Yep.
For a lot of reasons. But yeah, like traveled a lot.
Yep.
Would come back with stuff, and it was and a very funny, truly funny guy, funny person. My mom is funny too, but so dry. My dad is so not dry.
Your dad is soaking wet.
He is drenched.
Yeah.
And Stooges, Bruce Lee, Van Damme, Steven Seagal, like always like hitting. Hitting is cool.
Yep.
That kind of thing. some W.C. Fields, which is
Wow.
kind of like, that's quite specific.
Polarizing.
Yeah, polarizing even. Some Marx Brothers.
The crooked pool cue bit, was that
Just
W.C.
very-
Fields? Yeah.
So,
Right.
but not Buster Keaton, never Buster Keaton. Don't know
Interesting.
why you'd think that a Stooges person would go and let's go a little earlier.
Yeah.
No. No Chaplin, no Keaton. Didn't love that era. Fields a little later. But then you get into like, and always a lot of movies.
Yep.
A lot of movies. We spent a lot of time at the video store. He wasn't always on the SNL thing like I was, but then it's just very specific thing that he's into. So he like found out about Crank Yankers in 2002.
All in.
Blew his mind.
Yeah.
Still quotes. There's a Tracy Morgan on Crank Yankers thing where he plays William Standish, or that's what the bit is. Talks about it like it's a thing that happened to him. Now.
I love this character.
No, it's great. It's great.
I love him. Yeah. Jerky Boys fan, probably.
Oh, all of that.
Yeah.
And always late to it. And then finding it. And then this makes me sound like I didn't really do my part, because I should have been. I think a lot of people who know my dad would say like, he's a child. I mean, he's a child. And I grew up a little bit early being like, you might be on the face more of a grown up than your father, even at 10 years old. Like he's that.
You had to
like
kind of step
Rodney
up.
Dangerfield in Caddyshack is like a grounded,
a more grounded
portrait
version
of my dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but that's not totally. It's not like coming into the room and like, here we go.
Yeah.
But it's a lot and funny, and like food thrown at restaurants.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. What is really interesting to me about this is like, you know, all of that stuff, those ingredients like bake into our casserole when we're a kid, even before we're aware of like comedy or wanting to do it or whatever. And so like you, without realizing it, were the unwitting straight man to a scene partner who was always off the rails wacky. And you had to be the grounding energy, both in terms of like getting through your day, but also like to make the scene work.
100% yes.
Yeah.
Really well analyzed as usual. This is why I love your show. But it's it was a lot of growing up quick. There was, my parents split when I was 10. This is not a unique story either, but you're right. It was a little bit like paying attention to the feelings and the vibes around you all the time, and feeling like this inclination to settle it down, or not necessarily always through action. Like my middle sister, when my parents split, my dad, this won't come as a surprise based on what I just said, his version of how to process it was, you guys, you gotta just say it, yell it, let it out, and swear if you need to, say whatever you need to. And I would sit then, and it was always like at a restaurant. And my sister would go like, you fucking asshole, I can't fucking, you're the fuck, and I'd be like, oh my God, and just kind of like evaporate.
Yeah.
And my sister was 7. You know what I mean?
You fucking asshole.
Yeah, and throwing
in
a
like
roll,
a big boy or
throwing
something.
a roll back at my dad, or whatever it was. Yes, a big boy. Yes, a diner, and yes, also because depending on the year, it could have been at like a fancy restaurant that I'd be like, I don't want to eat this kind of food, and now you've got us here, and you've got my sister firing rolls and frozen butter discs like around while everyone, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like the show, you were always in a show.
Yeah.
And you didn't always want it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's some of that.
Yeah. I mean, what you're describing is utterly humiliating. Like,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But also was kind of told throughout, like, why are you choosing to be this way about it? You could be doing what your sister's doing, and you could be how I am, which is nihilist almost.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like,
Were you younger or older than this sister?
I'm the oldest,
You're the oldest.
the only boy, all women, unless I was at my dad's. Stepdad later when I was already in college, who's you know, he was like and still is like if Goodfellas is on, you just stop whatever you're doing.
You're in for the 3.5 hours.
You sit and you stop and you do it.
Yep.
So I probably watched that 6 times with him.
Right.
Just that way where you're like, I actually have to go somewhere, but not allowed to now. And it's a commitment.
I just happened to be passing through the living room on my way to get lunch,
absolutely.
But now
sometimes if you would hear it, you'd go like the long way around because, and he was putting it on a lot too. Yeah, like terrace. I've got to go. Yeah. I've got school. Yeah. But yeah, like, yeah, there was a little bit. And again, like as a now divorced person, which I mean, God bless patterns, which is, you know, big part of what we all do. But it's sort of like, that was such a bad version of a divorce. My kids will let me know when they do their interview with you in 20 years how this version is. But I think I feel like it's quite different.
Yeah,
and
I would imagine.
And my mom and dad did a very poor job, which I don't know that, you know, I don't, it's sort of like, how do you deal with getting punched in the gut? Like if you don't handle it well, that's not really on you. But I also feel like it wasn't handled across the board the way that might have been best for the 3 children.
Yeah, it sounds like there was some emotional immaturity on behalf of the adults in the room. There was,
and I do feel like that was the growing up fast thing for me.
Yeah,
that did lead to a little bit more subtlety, or, you know, I mean, you've talked about this with people too, but like, you know, if we believe in this theory that comedy comes at least in part from difficult moments in our early life, then, you know, I'm a believer in that to a degree. And I think that finding sort of balance between the drama and the release of being able to laugh at that is just around you, right? Yeah. I'm always amazed. I'm always amazed when I meet comedians and improvisers and creative people who come from like perfectly.
Isn't that wild? Like idyllic childhood.
I'm amazed, and I know that idyllic doesn't exist anyway.
Sure,
that's not a real thing. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like a
happy, well-adjusted,
intact, adjusted, without massive inflection, trauma moment type of thing. And my version is maybe more, I would assume, more pronounced and than many and less than others. But just this idea that there are people that like, yeah, no, I grew up watching SNL and I did voices and I was the funny kid in class and I just, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm always like, I'm amazed by that.
Yeah, it was easy and happy and everyone supported me. I know, me too. I have a theory. Yeah. I feel like being a funny person is more nature than nurture.
I agree.
It's like, you know, however our brains see the world, however, genetics, whatever. But so you can be a hilarious person from a traumatic background or a totally well-adjusted one, but it's like the events in along the way call out different aspects of your comedy, or like you use it in different ways. Totally. It's like either you are writing funny songs or you are like trying to diffuse mom and dad while they fight.
Totally agree. And I feel like to think about my tendencies as a creative person and performer and writer, like, and not to get ahead, but
please,
but I think that I don't do a lot of thinking about or looking at how I behave as a performer. But in this context, while we're talking about it, like that tendency to want to like live in the quieter space or the reality of the situation is always like on the teeter-totter with this other part of me that's like the fun version is to let go of all of it and actually fly toward the version that isn't that, or that will like, you know, like distort that other thing. It's like this like, that was great, and now I feel like I kind of need to like also be free to do this other thing. And it's like this metaphor for what life is. And then you kind of go like, I gotta calibrate this, and then can I make it like how I operate? It's never done with intention, but if I look back on it, I go like, oh yeah, you do like to be really, really rooted in the reality of a thing. And man, does it feel good sometimes to be one of the Three Stooges, even if it's in your way. You
have a really deft ability to braid those two things together simultaneously. Like, I've seen you play really like extreme characters who like do not speak like you and do not think like you, but they always feel real. They are like drilled to the ground somehow. So even if you're playing like a witch in the woods, it feels like I look in your face, and I did see that. Yeah. But it's like I look in your face and I'm talking to a real person, and the real gift of that is it makes the people around you better actors in the scene, because it sucks us into this reality where we can't see it any other way.
That is a great compliment, and I wish I could feel that way. I do feel like number one, so interesting. Like, I feel like I'm improvising again now. Almost, well, it's not. I'm trying to think. There was, you know, in my 20s, I was improvising 3 nights a week. In my 30s, I was improvising 6 nights a week. You know, in my 40s, it went down to 1 night every 2 weeks or something, and now there's a bit more. I really feel, as I've like gotten older, that the character stuff feels harder to access.
Oh, interesting.
And it's probably life, and like you become a parent, you deal with money stuff, you know, if someone's sick, all of that. But that freedom to have all of that is, I'm aware of it. Like, I feel like it's the most incredible luxury of being an improviser, is to get a chance to do what you just said, to be present in a moment with other people who you have such respect for artistically, and to just create something that is alive, and then you get to walk away from it. And it used to be, for whatever reason, just used to be easier to just go like, I'm the outside world is gone, and I'm here, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to really like spread out. It's interesting. I've noticed it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like some portion of your bandwidth now is always running a program of like, okay, and I have to be home by 11 for the babysitter.
Yeah,
and tomorrow I need to make sure that I pack the extra lunch for their field trip or whatever.
It's that stuff. And it's not that I'm I don't feel that while I'm performing, but it's almost like everything around it is just a little more huggy in my life than it used to be. And that's like, it's just an interesting thing. I mean, we just, doing some shows on the road, which is a really fun, cool, different thing, which I know you've done a lot of as well. It gives you this ability to like put it all away. You're just with the band and you're like, even if it's for a few days, we're going to live this little version of our reality. And it feels like, you kind of almost get back to that thing. But I feel that like I miss the carefreeness of, and I think it's just what aging is, you know what I mean? And I absolutely have more gratitude than ever for being able to do any of this stuff anymore. And, but it's like, whoa, okay. It almost becomes, it's like you get better at flossing and taking care of yourself. And it's almost like, oh yeah, you have to remember that this is the only thing and that it's your favorite thing. And if you don't pay attention to protecting that, then it starts to feel like never regretful, but just almost like, I think I need to loosen the fuck up inside what I'm doing as a performer. And then I also feel like part of it is the responsibility for your scene partner and the show in a different way than if I'm being honest, I always felt it. I always felt like, oh, I got to, we need an edit. Yeah. I'm so terrified of editing, and I don't, like those early days of like just doing the thing that needs to be done for the show. That I feel that more now. And maybe that is a little bit like, oh, you're on the road doing these shows and you're doing it with hero people and people that but I feel that way about everyone I perform with. I feel so lucky. I don't remember the last time I did a show where I was ever like, oh boy. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we're good here, but if this person pops out with me, I'm going to be I honestly don't know that I ever felt that, but I think in classes we probably sometimes felt. There was one time my first Herald team when there was a rehearsal we did at DePaul, I remember, and someone said something like first beats. Someone made like a real weird, not quite satirical, not really a clear character, just racist kind of thing.
Dear.
And I just went full spin out back to being a kid with my dad throwing the rolls in the restaurant. And I was like, oh God. And I froze. Like for 25 minutes. Yeah. And the coach was like,
Brad, you blacked
out. Can I talk to you for a second? And I was like, yeah. I was like, you literally cannot, you may be not cut out for this because this is what it takes. It's your job to save. You have to make that make sense. Or, I'm like, I know.
You're like, I did not want to participate in that. I
literally was like, I was so uncomfortable. It was so, you know what I mean?
I would also, that was a different time. I'm guessing that was like late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah. So, but that's not an excuse. What I was going to say is I would argue that the onus is on the coach in that scenario to be like, okay, freeze for a second. So if we're not going to do satire, then we cannot just say things that live in that trend. We don't want to see a scene about that. We don't want to do a scene like that. You're putting your teammates in an awkward position. The audience is uncomfortable. Like, there's no reason for it.
I take full responsibility for what I didn't do. And there were many options.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was a little side coaching there would have been probably the move instead of just like watching to see who else isn't going to do anything about this.
And then reaming you as if you're the problem for not saving it.
I do feel a little bit like I had a target on me. I think it was a little bit like, you should know how to do this.
Right.
It was a compliment, but at the time it was done in front of everyone too.
Yeah.
And I also feel like being identified as someone who might be good at something is like a double-edged sword too, because you're like, that's nice, and also, but maybe I'm not quite I don't know how to do that yet, or something, right?
Something that hampered my early growth as an improviser was that I had just come through like 4 years of a theater degree.
Yep.
And so in my class, I was one of the people who was like very comfortable being on stage, and
it shows, your comfort shows, and it is appreciated.
It's like a faux. It reads as confident doing improv when really it's just confidence treading the boards.
But that is, I mean, I feel strongly that. And now I'm also remembering that I think that what you actually asked me 20 minutes ago was, did I do any acting in my early days?
It was closer to 30, but
which I'll answer that. A little bit in high school.
Yeah.
The greatest one being don't know why in my weird little school that the teacher thought it was a good idea to do for two like 16-year-olds to do On Golden Pond.
You guys are going to play a 100-year-old couple.
Yeah. To this day, my mom's like, I just want you to do something like On Golden Pond again. I'm like, Mom, I was 16, 17 years old. It was not appropriate.
Right.
But I hear you,
oh, God, it's so funny.
But I think that the ability to bring calm presence, which you among the many things you do as a performer, is you do give that. It's the same thing that you're saying to me. It's like the feeling of being taken care of, and knowing that you're in this with someone else who has the exact same confidence without knowing what the hell it's going to be is the ultimate. It's the ultimate rush. That's what it is.
Right.
And then and then in my mind, the neurosis just goes like, oh no. And that's part of it too, is I think tastes change over time, and doing character stuff also, I think at some point becomes, in my mind, became like, I don't know that you want to be the dude, the one person like throwing out character here. And I think that some of that was right and some of it was wrong. Like I think it's always, you're always best served to like stick to your guns, which is not a great phrase, but you know what I mean? Like,
you're
I really
always
do.
best
Instinct.
Served to cock your guns, your
Always
loaded guns, and point them around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
More gun stuff is
stuff.
And people who know me know that's kind of my thing.
Your thing is gun stuff.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the guns themselves, but
just gun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And gun phrases and metaphors, I think that
big time.
Always great, timeless.
Yep. Evergreen.
Evergreen.
Yeah. Ageless. You can it works with any age. It's great.
I think so.
Yeah. Because everyone gets it.
Yeah.
Even babies.
They do. They do. I just found out my 7-year-old nephew was upset because his buddy Franklin has a pocket knife, and my mom only wants to talk about how upsetting this is. And I'm like, what do you want to do about it? She's like, this is really upsetting to me. I was like, but Theo does he have a pocket knife? Well, no, but his friend does, and now he wants one. I was like, well, and so for me, my mind goes to maybe more gun stuff here. Why? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why knives?
Why knives?
Knives are more dangerous. It feels more urgently dangerous, whereas gun stuff, not guns themselves.
No, the stuff.
Just the stuff.
The stuff about and around them.
Sticking to them.
Firing guns.
Because all cylinders is about cars.
Gunning for someone.
Something.
Yep.
Or for someone.
Like I was really gunning for him after he cut me off. Yeah.
Right.
Or gunning for a job.
Gunning for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, these colors don't gun.
Keep your powder dry.
Keep your powder dry.
That's a great one. I use that a lot now.
Powder dry.
I don't know why that's in my lexicon big time these days, but I'm very into telling people to keep their powder dry.
You have to. That defines powder. Otherwise, it's mud.
That's right.
Sticking to your guns.
Right.
Just staring down the barrel.
Something about a holster, probably.
Yeah, there's probably something like that, and it's probably a bullet. Bite the bullet.
Biting the bullet.
You gotta have to bite. I bite a bullet at least once a week.
I think so.
Yeah. Average. You grew up looking at SNL and being like, I love it.
Yeah.
When did you start? What got you to Chicago? Did you grow up in Chicago?
I grew up in Chicago, and I grew up really close to all those theaters, and so.
The playground.
But I'd like to dedicate the rest of this to talking about the playground if possible, which is where someone once told me, which was true, at an audition for a playground team or whatever those were called.
Yeah.
Boy, those early days were really challenging in some ways. Make a choice, Morris, And I was like, oh man, like, that sucks, because
in the middle of your audition they said that?
Literally right after. And I mean, no one knows more than the person who didn't just make a choice that they didn't make a choice.
Yeah, you've given yourself that note 20 times during that scene.
But
you don't need to hear it again.
To have this guy say it to me, and I just went, yeah. And then, like a month later, he wanted me to be on some side team with some other people. And I did do it because I have no ability to, stick to my guns. I do now. But at the time, I was like, oh. Yeah.
At the time, it's like all of us were just hungry for stage time, and wanting to practice this thing.
We did shows even with that group.
Right.
Bar shows,
right.
Weird things like that. But yes, the playground. What were we talking about before the playground?
Chicago. You grew up in Chicago. You grew up near those theaters.
Grew up near the theaters, thank you.
Yeah.
Went to Second City as a kid. Jim Belushi and his wife, Sandy, lived in a building around the corner from my house, and the 2 yards were, if I would hit a ball, it would sometimes go to their yard.
What a name drop, Brad. Wow.
Jim Belushi or Sandy?
Sandy Belushi's
Davenport
yard, sort
Belushi. So she actually, much more so than Jim, who I think at that point was like, already been on SNL. I was little. I was 8, 9. He had been on SNL or was on SNL. Was maybe doing, I think I once saw him do the Pirates of Penzance.
One of my favorites.
That, it's a classic.
Yeah.
Jim and Sandy split. Sandy and my mom became good friends. Also in part because they were both going through divorces. So I met Rob when he was 2 years old. He's got a scar on his finger from me slamming a rusty gate accidentally on his finger. Sandy was in the touring company at Second City.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's how they met, I believe. And Sandy used to teach some improv for kid stuff around town.
Uh-huh.
Spollen kind of game stuff and all of that. And so as a little kid, I did do a couple classes like that. And I really, really absolutely liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Watched SNL. Second City was over there. Went and saw some early shows. And again, was young enough that, I know that I saw like Mike Haggerty on stage, but it wasn't until later that it all kind of came together. And
What sparked you, like what was the spark plug for your engine that was like, I'm going to move in this direction and this is going to be something I do and it's a life path versus just something you did?
Later. Yeah. Well, I was never, my dad was a big, school achiever guy. I don't think it was rebellion intentionally, but I was always a person who like, oh yeah, I like this class because of this teacher and this subject matter, but I don't, I wasn't like gunning for
there it is
grades. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like my,
you weren't shooting for the moon.
Wasn't shooting for the moon.
No,
thank you.
No.
By the time, so theater and that sort of stuff, it was that, and it was lots of sport, like loved a team, like put a tennis racket in my hand, like that's cool, but it's like singles is like playing intense chess at 11 years old against another kid. And I was like, that was for me, part of the draw of where I ended up landing in sort of in improv as a place that felt so good was absolutely tied to loving the team and loving the collaborative nature and the community part of it and the shorthand, the investment of time and support into something and achieving it together felt so much better to me always than the individual thing.
You're growing a group garden together.
Totally.
It takes a lot of work, but then you get to see the fruits together and you all did it.
It's so much more fun. I mean, I remember a friend of mine, I think my stepbrother once, we were celebrating my grandmother's 75th birthday in Las Vegas, and I'm not like a big gambler. He said, do you want to go play some games? And I said, yeah, like I don't even know that I understand blackjack other than that you're trying to like not get over 21. 21's the best, and then you have to figure out underneath that how close you get. Yeah. That's pretty much it.
You just
although I got yelled at by some people at a blackjack table, and I was just kind of like, it was kind of make a choice. I was like, I gotta go. But my stepbrother said, come play craps. Like, let me show you how to play craps.
Community game.
I didn't know it, but man, oh man, it's the only thing. If I'm in a place where there's a craps table,
buddy, game over. Yep.
It's to have the, like, why is everyone screaming and high-fiving each other over there? That's what life is supposed to be.
Yes.
And the drug of, I mean, I am like, my good friends know this about me, and it's like not the greatest quality, but like the rant about what's wrong with humanity in the world for me will always wrap itself around to just like people's inability to leave their very impassioned station about their individual thing that is ultimately dogma, wherever they got it from, grew it, arrived at it, and just seeing the wider view.
Yep.
That's my religion. My religion is please see the wider view, and it will make you better at being in the tiniest of moments.
That's well said.
That's it.
Right. Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah. If you can let go of your micro idea and then face the macro with wide open, clear eyes and an open heart, then your micro moments will be full and beautiful, and you don't have to like cling to all that.
So that right there, so beautifully said, is the chicken or the egg of, for me and my psyche and my like love of improv. It's that.
Yeah.
Did my desire to find community, to build bridges, to make people feel good, to mediate the or even lead through the choppy waters of a moment, like bring me to a thing where you can feel successful, making someone else find that, help them find that way and do it. It's leadership without agenda.
Yeah. There's
right?
no pushiness to it.
There's not, and it's never, it is selfish in the sense that I really do believe that the world is a better place in every moment if people can approach it that way. But beyond that, I think it's my favorite thing about myself is like, this can be easier, you guys. And sometimes you get to do it, that's improvising is like the easiness sometimes is just yesing and jumping in to the literal or figurative boat that someone has created. And that's what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And the fun of like, we're all pirates in this boat right now. Mm-hmm. That feels so good. Sometimes it's being the person to announce that it is this boat and you are the lead pirate. But like that unspoken give and take, or even the like subtlety around setting up realities that have a shared like agreement. Mm-hmm. It's almost like the living embodiment of what that is. And again, I know that improv and my love for it, which is, it's related to sketch, which I also love. It's related to acting, which I also love. It's related to writing, which I have a complicated relationship with, but enjoy, especially when I've finished the writing. Improv is the purest version. And I used to teach years ago and still do here and there a little bit, which has been really rewarding, but I don't really care if people don't get it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I love it when they do.
You mean if they don't get how to do it? Or you mean,
I'm okay. I'm like, it's okay. I'm in the same way that I am with you, that I think someone's soul being funny or recognizing funny is nature, certainly more than nurture. I feel like if you either see the fourth dimension of what improv is, or you don't. And I like when I see that someone else has it, but we don't ever need to talk about it. It's just how you are. Do you know what I'm saying?
And yet here we are talking about it. The irony.
But I mean, I'm not like I'm also like, I'm not a club person. Mm-hmm. I don't like I specifically chose a college that did not have a Greek system because I was like, that sucks. And I know that it doesn't suck for everyone. I just know that for me, I have a real aversion. I have an aversion to dogma. I have an aversion to dogma around improv.
Talk about that.
I just don't have time for it.
Yeah.
I think it misses the point entirely.
You mean these like faux like sub rivalries of like, well, we don't do game, or
that is absurd to me. Mm-hmm. I think it's a marketing ploy. It's complete bullshit. It was never ever anything more than that. Anyone who rides hard for that place that they're from, to me, is like, I'm just bored. I'm like, why?
Right.
Show me that you can do all the things. Show me that you can speak all the languages, and then we cannot talk about this ever again. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I love that people get excited about things, but as soon as it starts to be, here's why this is better.
Right. Or the only one, or why that thing is wrong.
I'm so fucking bored.
Let me ask you this, just hypothetically. Would your tune change if some of those people tied you to a tree, pissed on you, and forced you to butt chug a beer, and then you had to stay there all night, and then in the morning they were like, now you're a part of it?
I'm starting to see how that might affect. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that sounds cool. Is that a
that's
club?
UCB.
That's UCB.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
Those
are
is that
Greek
a club?
letters.
Is that a Greek thing?
Upsilon.
I never.
Chi,
By the way, this
Beta.
is not a comment on. I mean, when I talk about this stuff, I'm talking about every institution that's ever been an institution that has a stage on it.
Yes.
They're all great because they literally are places where we get to do the thing that we love to do.
Mm-hmm.
There are little ripples and rules that are encouraged that literally come from the training manuals. The training centers are what pays for everything to happen there.
Uh-huh.
The sooner that crap can fall away, the more fun you're going to have. And that's how I feel about it.
For part 2 of this episode, go to yesalso.supercast.com. If you like this podcast and you want double the content, head over to yesalso.supercast.com and subscribe. You can also help us out for free by subscribing to us on YouTube and talking us up to your improv communities. If you have a question that you'd like us to answer in one of our Q&A episodes, or a topic that you think would make a great bonus episode, put it in a 5-star review. If you're a theater who would like to host us for a live recording and improv show, let us know at yesalsopod@gmail.com. A very special thanks to our producer, Ryan Rosenberg, audio and video editor, Brian Kessler, and Britt, Faye, who does our marketing. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week. No, we won't, Suzi. That's not how podcasts work. They won't even see us. They will listen to us, so it's actually the opposite of both things you said. Thanks for listening, and you will listen to us next week. Maybe. We don't know.